Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be using this, which is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Favourites palette. So I just wanted to give a kind of little brief description of the palette before I go on to the tutorial. It's just going to be an eye tutorial today, but I absolutely love this palette, so I kind of wanted to do it for you guys, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about it first. Okay, so this palette went on for pre-sale on the 1st of January. So it went on at midnight on the 1st of January, and basically everyone just flooded the site. There was so many people, and they had problems because something to do with hackers sent so much traffic to the website, so it made it extremely difficult for people to be able to get this palette. Now for me, because I live in the UK, with a time difference, it was actually 8 o'clock in the morning for me. So whereas everyone else was up at, the majority of people were up at midnight anyway because it was New Year's Eve. But I went to bed after being up for New Year's Eve, and then I got up at about 7 o'clock in the morning, ready to try and get this in my palette, thinking, you know, I'd be ready, like raring to go, gonna get it in my cart, done, bang, you know, 20-minute job. No, I was sat there for 5 hours trying to get this palette. 5 hours. Every time I had to keep refreshing. I was getting so stressed. It was just a whole nightmare. And so yes, for 5 hours, and actually I think 5 hours was probably quite short actually. Like, I thought at the time it was like I'd been sat there for years, but when I looked on like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, like people had been sat there for like 20 hours, and then people who had been trying to get it for like a whole week, they were like, yay, finally got it after a week of trying to get it. Like a week of trying to get it. Like, I only had to wait 5 hours. Like, I was actually incredibly lucky. So when I got the confirmation email through, I like jumped for joy. Yes, I had it. And I thought that because it went on for pre-sale, so it was going to ship on the, like, I think it was like the 27th of January or before. So I thought that was still going to apply. However, because of the amount of people so unhappy not being able to get it, I'm assuming they released the palette early so they could get more in. So it's going to be, if you weren't able to get the palette, they are going to restock it in February, so you will be able to get it then again. But they sent the first lot of orders out early, so I got mine about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks. So yeah, I got it that long ago. I have used a couple of the shades out of it. I went to a dance event a couple of weeks ago, so I used a couple of the shadows out of it, but I hadn't used all of them. So the ones that I hadn't used, I decided to use to do this tutorial today. So this is the palette, so you get 28 shades in it. I hope you can see it. I don't have a little viewfinder thing, so I can never know what you guys are seeing. So let's just hope this was right. So this is the palette. You get 28 shades in this, and this is Jaclyn Hill's favourite eyeshadows. So usually with the Morphe palettes, the shadows in the palettes are different to the ones in the singular ones. So it's not like they create palettes based off of their single eyeshadows. The palettes are all different to their single eyeshadows, and I've heard that their single eyeshadow quality is better than their palette quality, because I'm assuming they'll, you know, spend more time on their single ones than they do on their palettes, because their palettes are so cheap. They're such a good price. They are amazing. So you get 28 shadows, and these are all single eyeshadows. So Jaclyn Hill basically picked her favourite single eyeshadows and they just put it into a palette for us. So it is slightly smaller than their regular palettes. I think their regular palettes are like 35 shadows, and this is 28 shadows. It's quite a warm tone palette, but you know, with it being Jaclyn Hill, we kind of assume that, but that's great for me. I love warm tones. I'm not much of a cool tone person, so this palette is perfect, absolutely perfect for me. So you kind of get some highlight shades at the top here, some gorgeous orangey shades. This colour here is amazing. Like, I don't know if you can see that. It is just so, like, how pigmented is that? It is just so gorgeous. And I kind of thought when I first got this palette, like, am I really going to use like a kind of orangey shade? But it's actually so gorgeous to blend out any transition colours. It's just really nice to kind of warm up any look. So then you get some really gorgeous warm tone browns. There are a couple of cool tone browns in there, which is nice. You get some kind of burnt coppery shades, some gorgeous purple shades, and a green shadow. How lovely. But again, Jaclyn Hill, green eyeshadow, you know, nothing's new there. But they are absolutely gorgeous eyeshadows, and you can just tell that so much time has been put into choosing these eyeshadows because they all just go so well together. Like, you could literally probably pick like any eyeshadows in this palette and they will go well together. It's such a staple palette. Like, I think it's just so many fabulous colours in it that you really can't go wrong with this palette. If it's kind of like a first kind of palette buy, if it's something that, you know, Jaclyn Hill's just amazing, and we all knew that anything that she chose would just be fabulous anyway. So I won't actually swatch all of these eyeshadows for you guys, because what I will do is I will do a blog post on this. So I'll have all of the eyeshadows swatched, and I will put a link to that down below in the description box, okay? But what I'll do is I'll kind of swatch a couple of these for you now. Like, I'll swatch a highlight shade. These are super, super, super gorgeous. I'll swatch the gold. And that's just with like one touch. They're just absolutely amazing. And I'll swatch this shade here as well. This looks really awkward, my favourite shade in the palette. I used it in this tutorial today, and it's just, it's so gorgeous. Like, I love it so much. And now I'm a complete mess. But anyway, so yes, this is the palette. I will do all swatches and that kind of thing in my blog post. I'll link it down below. Everything will be there, all information, all that kind of thing. What else haven't I said? Oh, price. Okay, so this palette was $27.99, I think it was. So for me, it worked out pretty much just less than £15, which is amazing. For 28 eyeshadows, that's nearly 50p an eyeshadow, which is, for this quality, they are absolutely amazing. I mean, as again, they're so pigmented. Some of them are slightly harder to blend out, like the shimmery kind of frosty shades, the highlight shades at the beginning. They're super, super pigmented, but slightly hard to blend out, and some of them you do get a lot of fallout, as you'll probably see in this video, with the coppery shade just kind of falling everywhere. So you might want to take that into consideration if you buy this palette, but overall you just really can't go wrong with it. It's absolutely amazing. I would totally recommend buying it. I love it. It's out all the time. I've pretty much used it every single day since I've had it, and probably will for a very, very long time. So yes, if you want to see how I created this eye look, then please keep watching. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to take this light warm tone brown, and I'm going to take it on a Zoeva 228 brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this through my crease. I want to take it all the way from inner to outer corner, and then I also want to start blending it upwards towards my eyebrow as well, because this is going to be our transition shade. So I want this to be quite smoky and blown out, because then all the other colours that we're going to apply on top of it will be so much easier to blend out. So just blending this from inner to outer corner using windscreen wiper motions, and then I'm just going to start blending it really gently upwards towards my eyebrow. Not too close to my eyebrow, but I want to kind of do like a gradient effect. Next, I just want to darken up that crease ever so slightly, so I'm going to take this medium warm tone brown here on the same Zoeva brush, but instead of taking upwards towards my brow, I'm just going to concentrate this in my crease. Again, taking it all the way from inner to outer corner. I just want to darken up that crease ever so slightly. I'm going to take it slightly up just to blend the colours in, but I don't want to take it too far up. And it doesn't matter if you get any of these colours on the lid, because we're going to be applying a different shade later on. Next, I'm going to deepen up that outer V a little bit, and I'm going to take this purple cranberry shade here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's matte, on a Zoeva 227 Luxe Soft Definer brush. Let's take a small amount of this. I'm going to start by just placing that in the outer corner. I don't want to take this colour any further than the crease. I want to keep it in the crease and below. So I'm just packing that colour onto the outer V, and then I'm going to start blending this colour through the crease. Kind of taking it about 3/4 of the way in. I'm going to softly blend it all the way through, but I'm going to only start blending in my inner corner when I've got only a tiny amount left on my brush, because I don't want a lot of colour in there, but I want it to be like a really soft blended line kind of around the ball of my eye. So I'm going to blend it all the way in, but the colour is kind of only about 3/4 of the way in. I don't want this colour, as I said, to go above the crease, so what I'm doing is I'm holding my brush kind of straight on, so it really, really packs it into the crease. Usually when I'm using dark colours like this, because I've got quite a small amount of lid space, I usually angle my brush upwards so that as I'm looking straight on you can see the colour. But with this colour, because it's quite dark, and with the kind of look that I'm going for, I want it to be deeply packed into the crease, so I'm holding my brush straight on instead. So I'm just going to grab my 228 brush again, and with no extra product, I'm just going to blend the harsh edges out ever so softly, just using windscreen wiper motions. Just dusting it over that colour so we don't have any harsh lines. For my lid colour, I'm going to use this burnt copper shade here. It's gorgeous, it's got a slight amount of shimmer to it, and I'm taking this on a unique liner shader brush, and I'm just going to use one side of it because in a minute I'm going to turn it over and use a different colour on the other side. So I'm just going to take this I'm going to start packing the colour on. So I'm going to start at the inner corner and just pack this colour onto my lid. I'm going to take it nearly all the way across, but I'm going to leave a small amount of that burgundy shade on the outer corner, just so we can keep darkening up that outer V later on. So as I said, I'm just packing this all over my lid, kind of patting it on and then rubbing it so the colour sticks, because I have noticed that with these shadows you do get a slight amount of fallout, so it's better to start patting it on and then just giving it a slight rub, and that way they will stick a bit better, because I'm not using any kind of glitter glue or like the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, I think it is. So if you want to use something like that, you can, because it might work really well for these shadows and you might get a lot more pigment as well. But I don't have that, so this will have to do for now. So I'm just packing that all over the inner corner, as I said, and then swooping it across my lid. And now on the other side of that brush, I'm going to take this shade on the other side of the palette. Again, it is like a coppery shade, but like the other one was a bit like a burnt coppery shade, this has got a more kind of orangey, reddy undertone to it. So I'm going to take this on the other side of the brush, and then I'm going to focus this on the inner corner, kind of coming about a third of the way into the eye. And then I'm going to take my 228 brush again. With this look, there is a lot of blending. Because we're using quite a lot of dark colours, it's so important to just keep on blending. And it's going to make your life so much easier when doing these looks as well. If you just keep, every time you apply colour, just blend it out, and it is really going to make the whole thing just so much easier and so much quicker to do as well. And then I'm just going to take that burgundy shade again, because when we applied the lid colour, we've kind of lost some of that colour as we blended it into the crease. So I'm just going to darken up the outer corner, and then again just run this through the crease. Okay, so now I'm going to line my upper lash line with the Soap & Glory Super Cat Black Eyeliner, like this. And I'm not going to do a wing today, I'm just going to do a really simple black line across my upper lash line, because this look is quite dark, so I want to keep it as soft as possible, and doing a wing is going to kind of make it that little bit more dramatic, and I want to keep it kind of soft. If you want to make it more dramatic, then you can do a wing, of course, but I'm just going to do a simple black line. I'm just going to start drawing this across. I tend to start at the middle of my eye. I don't really know why, that's just seems to me, I think because then you can gauge the intensity, like the thickness of the liner. So I'll just start from the middle of the eye and work towards the outside, and then move towards the inner corner. Okay, so now I'm going to apply some mascara to my top lashes. I always put my mascara on before I put my false lashes on, because I think that if you put your false lashes on first and then mascara your lashes, that you're going to ruin your lashes, and you just kind of reduce the longevity and like the amount of time that you can use them. So I always put mascara on before my false lashes, and I'm using the Rimmel Wonderful Mascara. This isn't my favourite mascara, to be honest, but you don't have to have the best mascara when you're applying your falsies, because you're not really going to see your natural lashes anyway. So I'm just going to apply a really thin coat evenly across my lashes, just so that they'll blend in with the falsies. And the falsies that I'm using today are the Red Cherry Lashes in the number 138. Okay, so these are the false lashes. I just had to skip through that bit because today is not a good day for me applying false lashes. So I'm now going to work on the lower lash line, and I am going to take this brown soft coal gel eyeliner pencil by Rimmel. It's in this shade Sable Brown. I'm just going to run this across my lower lash line and my waterline as well. Get my little mirror out. And I'm just going to run this kind of nearly all the way to the inner corner. Okay, so now I'm going to take that crease brush from earlier on, and I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line with the kind of purpley cranberry colour, and then the dark brown colour as well. So I'm going to take the burgundy colour first, and I'm just going to run this along my lower lash line, just where we put that brown eye pencil. And then I'm going to do the same with the dark brown as well. I'm also going to apply some mascara to my lower lash as well. Even though I'm not a big fan of this mascara at all for my upper lashes, but I absolutely adore this mascara for my lower lashes, which is really weird actually because it's quite a big brush, and so usually I don't like big brushes for my lower lashes. Usually most people like tiny brushes for their lower lashes, but I actually prefer this one for my lower lashes than my upper lashes. Okay, so to finish off this look, I'm going to take this first shade in the palette, which is a highlight shade. I'm going to take this on a Sigma E30 pencil brush, and this shadow is super pigmented. So you want to take literally the smallest amount on your brush as well. I'm just going to highlight this under my brow bone. And I love this shade, but my only kind of downside with this shade is that it doesn't blend out particularly well. So I'm going to take my 228 brush and then just try to blend that into the lower shadows. And then I'm also just going to take a small amount of that on my inner corner as well. And here's the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give a big thumbs up, and of course please subscribe to my channel as well if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
Okay, so next I'm going to take this gorgeous kind of deep cranberry purple shade in the bottom here. I'm taking this on a Zoeva 227 Luxe Stops. So I'm just going to take my 228 brush again with no extra product on it, and I'm just going to ever gently, oh my god, I can't speak. Oh, this is far out of my nose, my god. Oh, and I've got coppery nose, great. Okay, so now I'm going to line my upper lash line with the Soap & Glory Super Clap. And here's the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, it really helps me out. And of course, please